Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. Thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate it. Today's recipe sounds very humble, but it is beans and rice. Now, I typically try to do the videos in order. An introduction, the recipe itself, and Fanny's going to come say hello, and little bits and pieces, and the end along the way. But this particular recipe was so good, y'all. It was so good, and I was, I wanted to express how impressed I was with the recipe. For one thing, it could not be any easier. It's just not going to get any easier, and you'll see in a minute how easy, incredibly easy it is. It is an easy way to cook rice, of course, along with your beans. The seasonings were spot on, and I feel in the situation, in the times that we're living now, it is an economical choice to go along with it. I had mine, when I ate it, I had mine as like a vegetarian dinner. I didn't serve anything else with it, but certainly if you were cooking Mexican food for the night, or if you're just grilling chicken or whatever, I think it would probably go with just about anything. But it made the fluffiest darn rice I've ever had. And although it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, and again, you guys know I'm kind of getting used to my oven and a new kitchen. It took a little longer, but you know what? That's okay. But I really, truly, sincerely hope that you guys give this a try. It's enough to serve probably 4 to 5 adults, a very healthy portion. And certainly if, you have children or grandchildren, you don't have to put the cayenne pepper in. But, and I used just a very little amount, and it was just enough for me. But I hope that you keep on watching. I certainly know that if you give this recipe a try and a chance, you guys are gonna just love this. Stay with me now. And I am doing a very good greasing of this casserole dish. A little butter is not gonna hurt this dish. This is an old standby. This is a variation of an old standby, and oh my goodness, it's ever so delicious. I've got 3 cups of basmati rice. If you have jasmine, any kind of long grain rice will do. And you just put it right in there. I've got a tablespoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, and I put about 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in there. And there we go. We'll just give it a wee bit of a stir. About to this, add about 1/4 cup or less of olive oil. This is really a really good budget-friendly side dish. With any kind of protein that you might have for dinner, or I guess it could stand alone depending on how you cooked it. It could stand alone as a vegetarian dish. But I got all my spices mixed in. I have about 16 ounces of salsa. This is just delicious, delicious. And we will get all of that salsa put in there and give this a mix. I know it looks kind of a different way of doing rice, but we are having a cold, wet, blustery day here in East Tennessee, and so I'm happy to have the oven on for a little bit for dinner tonight. So I have that done. 2 cups of chicken broth, and you can use low sodium chicken broth, regular, whatever works for you. And that's 2 cups. And we'll get it stirred in for a bit. And particularly if you use low sodium chicken broth, you're going to want to add a little bit of salt, a wee bit, a pinch, a good pinch, and some pepper. And I have rinsed and drained 2 cans of actually what I had on hand because I didn't want to get out in this terrible weather. I've got a can of light red kidney beans and dark red kidney beans. That's rinsed and drained. 2 cans. Probably it would be really great black beans, whatever it is that you have. And if you don't have chili powder in this equation, you can substitute paprika with that. And again, if you don't have olive oil, you can substitute for butter. Put butter in instead. That would be good too. But even without it starting to cook, it looks delicious. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with foil, and I am going to bake this at 350 degrees. Probably an hour 15 minutes. And, you know, you have to, at an hour, I would pull it out, check it, fluff it around with a fork because your rice is just going to fluff up and just be incredibly good. But give it a little bit of a taste. See if it needs to go 10, 15 minutes longer. But, you guys, we will be back when this is a done deal. And we are finally out of the oven. It took quite a bit longer than I anticipated, but here we are. Let's open this up and see what this looks like. This looks excellent. I've been kind of tasting it along. I haven't added anything else to it other than thyme. It took probably at 350 about an hour and a half. But again, your oven might vary, but I'm going to go ahead and dish up, and what I'm going to do, just give you a good view of, I've tasted it, and it's really, you know, it can be as spicy as you want it to be depending on the salsa that you put in here. But how I'm going to treat it tonight is I'm going to treat it as kind of vegetarian, sort of vegetarian, although I do have cheese and sour cream here, but this is what's going to be my dinner. And I'm going to put just a wee bit, wee bit of sour cream and some freshly shredded Monterey Jack cheese. And I have some tortilla strips here. And I'm going to just sprinkle these on top. And there you go. It turned out really, really well. And I can see it going with a lot of different proteins. Chicken, or, you know, as in my case here, I've got a sweet Italian sausage going. And so really just limited to your imagination. I would think, and I know I probably have it in the fridge, I would think just a little squeeze of a little bit of fresh lime juice would be good too in this. I think that it might. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope y'all all come back to Home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.